Hello, folks, and welcome to episode 2 of the Euro Sidecast. Plenty's happened in the week of football. A lot of shit friendlies, a lot of shit football, and the build up to what should be a good tournament. Although it doesn't look like that way at the minute, does it, Sean?
No, the tournament at the minute seems like it's going to be a bit of a, I don't know. It's going to be a boring one. I think the way the results are going in the pre-tournament matches.
Crap.
But we're joined today by a guest, which I have a few names to call him, but the one that I've known him the most and the longest for is Cowboy. So I'm rocking with that.
Hello, how's it going? My
right?
name is Cowboy, also known as James, also known as CJ West. I'm a man in many names.
Ted K-Lop.
Ted K. Lop, that's another one. There you go.
This is all going over my head. I feel like a third wheel here.
Oh no, he's wrestler, Twitch streamer, avid gym goer.
Avid Ireland supporter, but it looks for it. I think he's sitting here in his Ireland jersey. Well, that's what you want.
Have to represent, even if they can't represent themselves.
Exactly.
Somebody has to give them a go.
Do you know the worst crime I have committed is I'm not only an avid Ireland supporter, I have a fucking season ticket.
A season ticket to watch Stephen Kenny. My God, that's the most depressing thing I've ever heard. I love the Republic of Ireland, but fuck me, they're shit. They're hopeless.
I only think the only hope we have is if Ireland just do what the rugby do and just take one team.
There's only so many more times I can watch Jeff Hendrick try to play football. He is literally the worst footballer I've ever seen in my life.
He looks like he's getting phased out now, thankfully, with Knight and Malumbi seem to be moving up to take the centre midfield places. So hopefully long term and short term he's gone from the team.
I can't even get into that Newcastle team anymore. That's how bad he is.
I was chatting to Clear earlier on. I think he said something about the firstborn African player, African born player, got a cap there.
That's correct.
I came on last night, saw his name in lights, and tried to beat Adam Bogdan at his near post, and didn't work. Although he looked quick, which is good. Right, Sean, let's get into this format here. We've already done ours last week, but we might have to change our minds after the weekend of football there, like.
Yes, so Cowboy, Sanchez anyway, I just will give you a bit of a heads up so you weren't on the spot. Adam, do you still have the groups or anything floating about there?
No, but I can get them.
I suppose don't really need them. Cowboy, I'm sure you know all your...
I have the groups in front of me here at the moment.
He has them.
I was prepared.
We are so unprofessional.
We're bad at this. Like we're not bad at it. We're just
not good at it.
Go with the flow, you know.
We're like Ireland. We're not bad, but we're not good, eh?
Oh, well, Ireland are good.
not bad on their day now.
We can draw against anyone. Never underestimate our ability to draw against anyone.
Exactly.
That's what we like, just to be in the middle somewhere, you know. So we went through ours last week. Anybody that's listening hasn't heard it, go back and listen. You'll hear what me and Adam think, as well as Scott. But Cowboy, Group A, who do you reckon's coming out on top?
Italy.
Yeah, that was the general consensus of us last week too, was Italy. It's hard to look past them in that.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to be a runner up there?
I'm going to go with Turkey, to be honest.
See, but people seem to be split. I've seen a few people mention Turkey, like
Turkey and Switzerland split there, sort of. A lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, they both can still go through because like they do that thing where like I think the best placed third teams go through.
The four best third place teams, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I fancy Turkey more than I'd fancy Switzerland. Turkey have a strong back line and they have an aging front line, but it's experienced more so than aging. I think like they had what's your man's name plays for Lille. He's like 35. Yilmaz, is it?
Yes. Yilmaz, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean he's still scoring. I don't know. I think Turkey have a more complete team than Switzerland, and I think Wales will probably finish ahead of Switzerland. I'd even fancy, to be honest.
That's if Gareth Bale's not out golfing.
No,
he always turns up to play for Wales. So
he carries that team to be fair, like, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Although even at the last years, it was Hal Robson-Kanu that got all the
what a man he was.
What a goal! What a goal!
Jesus Christ!
Now, after me saying that, watch Italy will finish rock bottom on the group.
Italy don't concede goals, so I don't know if that'll be the case. I think Donnarumma looks nailed on to be their starter because that's another thing we were discussing, who's going to be their starting keeper, because they seem to rotate a lot in their friendlies and stuff.
I think it's Donnarumma is pretty much nailed on, to be honest.
Yeah, Syracuse not bad, like, but
They haven't lost in like 3 years either. I don't think.
Yeah, they haven't conceded.
Wow. Like honestly, like I'll say right now, early on, I fancy them to win the whole thing, even ahead of France.
Jesus, right?
Yeah.
That's the first.
That's a bold. See, I went different for winning it, but I'll get down to that when we get that far. Since you've jumped the gun there, Group B, Group B.
This one to me is the most interesting of all the groups in the Euros, because all the teams are an equal level of mediocre. I don't think Belgium are as good as people make them out to be. I think that Belgium team had its time in the early 2010s, and I think they're just aging now. And it's not just one group is aging. Like, it's at the point where Hazard could be their best player. And I'm not on about Eden Hazard. I'm on about Thorgan. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well, Lukaku's still scoring. But Russia are weird in tournaments. Like, sometimes they turn up and sometimes they don't. I think Finland will probably, I don't know. Denmark and Finland are about the same, to be honest. They're both the equal level of shitness that Ireland are. So you never really know. Like,
although Denmark always seem to turn us over.
Yeah,
they make it.
Yeah. The only thing I can really say is, like, looking at the group, I'd put Belgium winners, but I don't think in any other group they'd win it.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably say Russia to go through seconds, and I'd go with Denmark over Finland for third and fourth.
Speaking about Belgium, how the fuck do they constantly, every single time the world rankings come out, are they at top?
Top?
How?
They don't play friendlies. They did what Wales did to improve their coefficients. They stopped playing friendlies for a few years, because every time you play a friendly, it gives you, like, if let's say winning a competitive match is worth like 5 points in your coefficient, a friendly is worth, like, I think like 0.5 if you win it. But it all comes down to your average. So it's a number of games played. So if you play 10 games, regardless of if they are competitive games or friendly games, that's why Belgium's is so good, because they deliberately avoid playing the friendly matches. I think they played them warming up to tournaments and things like that. But when Ireland, for example, would play Oman, they are having none of that.
Ireland v Oman, what a match.
But Ireland still get beat.
Not against Oman, thankfully.
So what did they not draw against Qatar there a few months back?
Yeah, well,
that was a new low.
No, Qatar. People were like, "Oh, we drew against Qatar." Qatar won the Asian championships. They won the Asian version of the Euros. People are just like, "Oh, that's shameful." It's like, I mean, on paper they're better than Japan or Korea, but I mean, people just seem to look past that for whatever reason.
Well, I think I'd be guilty of that. So you're reckon Belgium wins that group then?
Yeah, general consensus of us as well. So it was.
Yeah.
Only we give them more praise than what you did.
I think you're the first person that I know has come out and says they're average.
You said they were one of the teams.
I think they're one of these teams that, like, everyone likes them because they're pretty much everyone's dark horse, and it's been that way since like the 2014 World Cup, I think. But they don't. I think they had their time. Do you remember when Argentina knocked them out? I think that was their time, and I think now it's just, I don't think they'll get back to that level. Now, that being said, they're probably going to win the whole thing after me talking shit about them.
They're just very underwhelming, because you expect a lot from them. You'd be excited for their matches, and then you're sitting after, you're like, is that it?
It's like, but it's because you see, like, De Bruyne, like, linking up with Lukaku and stuff, and you're like, Hazard, something's bound to happen here, but never does.
Like, they beat Croatia at the weekend there, but, like, I think they drew with Greece as well. And I think it's just Belgium in general is just, like, thoroughly inconsistent like that. Like, I remember, like, was it Czech Republic they played in one of the last qualifiers, and, like, they should have lost that game. I think they drew, like, it was either 0-0 or 1-1. But Czech Republic were all over them, and I don't think Czech Republic are a particularly great team. They're decent, but they're not great. Like,
yeah, no, right. Group C.
Yeah.
So this one is a toughie to call, like, because the reason I say it's a toughie, I think Macedonia are going to be the surprise team of the tournament.
Somebody said that also.
Yeah.
Oh, I only know one player, and it's Alioski.
Like, I genuinely think, like, because whenever you see them play, they play like a team. It's like, I said this recently. I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, some teams are stacked with they have 1 or 2 stars, and, like, who is Austria in this? Austria's in this group as well. Austria is a prime example of this. Austria have 2 stars, Arnautovic. Sorry, I was thinking of West Ham, and I said Mitrovic, who never played for West Ham. But Arnautovic and Alaba, are the two players. And if you watch Austria play, the way they play is Alaba plays wherever he wants on the pitch, regardless of where he's starting, he plays wherever he wants. And every single time they play, the ball either goes like it'll go from player C to Alaba to like Arnautovic or to Arnautovic to Alaba. And that's how Austria play. And it was kind of like how Sweden used to play in the mid 2000s where they just play through Ibrahimovic the whole time. I think when a team has like truly world-class players, they always focus on playing through that world one player. But in international football, that's often to the detriment of the team, I find. Where Macedonia were like they pulled out some like results in the qualifiers people forget, like they beat Germany and like they lost some games that you'd expect them to win, like against Romania. I think they were walked over against Romania, but like I don't know, that Macedonia team, if it turns up, and especially with the fact that it's their first tournament, they could pull an upset. I'm going to go because I know pretty much everyone's going with like Holland to win this group. So I'm going to go with Macedonia to win the group just for a shock.
Oh my God.
That's a statement now. That is a statement.
Well, I think you're going to have to, if that happens today, win that group, I think you're going to have to get a Macedonia top.
I just have some shite kit sponsor like Janko or something.
Just get on the back, fucking told you so. It's probably sponsored. Fucking Slazenger. Sports Direct sock sponsor.
Yeah, you could definitely get a Macedonia jersey in Sports Direct.
Definitely. Fuck, probably find one in JJB. There's probably a JJB still open up in Macedonia. Probably Fulham. Group D.
Croatia all the way. I think. I go with like Croatia, Czech Republic, England, Scotland. Actually, you know what? Croatia, Czech Republic, Scotland, England.
Yeah.
Is this just for hatred of England, or
is this what you want to happen or what you think will happen?
I don't think England are as good on paper, and especially when they get to the Euros. I was looking up. On paper they have a good team, but rather than on paper on the pitch, I don't think they're as good as people make them out to be. There's a guy who streams, Roebuck James, one of my friends. He's from England, and he put them down as like potential winners. I just don't see them even winning that group, to be honest. I think Scotland are going to be more up for playing England than they would be.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's going to play a major factor. Like Scotland, their first major tournament since like the 80s or something like that.
Yeah.
England don't do well historically at the Euros, and I don't know. Like I watched the England friendlies.
They've been shit.
They're not lighting the world on fire. The thing about England is they always destroy their qualifying groups, except in 2008 when they didn't qualify. But they always destroy their qualifying groups, and then they get to the tournaments and they're kind of lackluster. I think this is going to be the case. I think that am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, Southgate is a waistcoat wanker, and he's going to get figured out very quick. At best, they make it through and get knocked out straight away. So I'll go with Croatia, Czech Republic, Scotland, England for that group.
I love it. I do. I
actually had Czech Republic down as my surprise package. It's probably because I'm a West Ham fan. And I love
Souček. Yeah.
I love Souček and Soufal. They're my boys, like. But no, I think Czech Republic get out of the group. I think England will win the group. I think they'll get out of the group and then they'll get knocked out.
Look, I'm gonna be completely honest. There's a bit of bias here. Like I don't think Czech Republic are better than England, but fuck them.
Listen,
I have made a claim, Cowboy, as well. If England win it, my hair is going pink.
Well, he said it now. He has to do it. Like, no. As we discussed last time, we went in depth a bit about England. We'll probably will a bit more later on because they're the closest, they're the big team to talk about where we are because Ireland's not in it. I just think over the years they're too egotistical. Like if they're not going to win a tournament with Gerrard, Lampard, Ferdinand, Neville, and all them players, they're not going to win it with the likes of fucking Harry Kane. Like,
no, I disagree in that regards because it was like I was saying about Macedonia. I think international football is different than club football, where in club football you can stack a team full of superstars. I don't think that always works for international football. Now I know I was saying that France won the World Cup, but like look at the Portugal team who won the last Euros. On paper, that wasn't a great team. Like they had Ronaldo, and they arguably started playing better when he went off the pitch in the final.
Yeah,
like
true, like.
I do think like I'm an avid fan of international football. Like most people like write it off, but it's from my experience, it's the teams without the megastars to build around normally do better than paper. So if you're saying there, it's like, oh, it's not necessarily like the best team. I think England's problem is there's a lot of Big Six bias in terms of their selections. Like Ward-Prowse for me was like he should be starting England games, let alone
Honda said that up before we started.
Barely made the squad, and it's just there's a lot of bias towards the Big Six teams. I find it a bit like, I don't know, like not inconsiderate is not the word I'm looking for. Like even the fact that like Ollie Watkins had a good season, but I don't know if I would have put him in over Danny Ings. Like Danny Ings for me is when you need someone at the end of a game to finish, like if you need a burst of pace, like that's to bring it back to Ireland. Shane Long used to be that for Ireland. When he had a bit of pace, he'd come on for the last 20 minutes and he'd grab you a goal. I think Danny Ings could have been that player for England. Ollie Watkins, I don't think is as complete a striker as Danny Ings is.
No, I agree. Something that you said there about bias towards the Big Six. Henderson and Maguire aren't fit and they still went.
But the counter argument to that is it's a 26-man squad as opposed to the usual 23. And I can understand that they want a bit of leadership. And people are saying Henderson's not fit. Henderson played the game the other day. Well, he had his penalty save.
Did you hear what Roy Keane said about him?
Yeah, like, but it's people are going on that Keane stuff. But like, he didn't play particularly bad, like in that game. Like, so I can understand it. Like in terms of like you need leaders in your locker room as well. And from all accounts, Harry Kane is more of like a talisman than an actual like captain. So like when Henderson's playing, he seems to be, even if you watch the games, he seems to be the actual on-pitch captains, like him and Maguire. So I can see why they were brought. And the other thing is as well is like, let's say Maguire gets fit for a final and he's playing well in training. Are you really like on paper England's best centre-back not going to play him in the final? You're not. You're going to
exactly like United were a completely different team without him. They were towards the end of the season. Like
exactly. You could see they had trouble in the cup final without him. Like,
big time. Big time. But no, we had quite a few things to say about England.
I think for you being such an avid Irishman, you were more defensive as England as we were. Like you were very much sort of.
I mean, like I'm an Ireland fan. I support an English team. I support Liverpool. So I mean, I can't really go and like knock.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like.
But the thing is, like, it's easy to get carried away, especially Irish media. And you have to remember, Roy Keane works in England, but he's still an Irishman, so he's gonna knock England whenever he gets the chance. Like,
he loves it. Loves it.
Like two things: Roy Keane loves knocking Liverpool and England. He'll take every chance he gets. But I don't think it's fair to go and say like, oh, they're muck. They're not. I know I was saying like I'm just putting the bottom just because I'm wearing an Ireland jersey in that group, but like I do think that you have to be realistic in terms of the players who they brought. I can see the reasoning for bringing them. There are some omissions in that England team that I thought were a bit questionable. Like you could argue Bamford has an even better shout than like Watkins or Ings, who I mentioned previously. I can understand why they didn't want to take the risk on Bamford because like Bamford plays very purple patch based. Like he has runs of hot streaks and then cools off again. He's not consistently at the same level, which I think you need to be at for international football, which I think plays a big factor in getting called up, like his consistency throughout a season as opposed to just hot streaks.
Do you think it was harsh leaving Lingard out after what happened with him from January?
No. I mean, he wasn't involved in the team. Like you have to look, I think England are using this as much to build for the next tournament as well.
And the World Cup next year, yeah.
Yeah, and like it's only next year, and they're looking at who do they replace? Like who's there? Mount's there, isn't he? Mount is there.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, Mount's been Foden. He's not getting it. He's not better than Mount and Foden. Like he's just not.
Yeah.
And like they play the same position, and it's like realistically, only in the typical 23-man squad, you have enough for two players in every position on the pitch, and then two extra goalkeepers. And when you look at it in the classic sense, does he fit into one of those two players? We've already just said Mount and Foden are better, so that's why he doesn't get in. Yeah. Like I can understand the logic behind it. Like, and it's like I was saying about Bamford. Is it just a purple patch? Like he hasn't shown that consistency long term. Like it could fade away when he's playing in a different team for England.
Yeah, that's very true. Right, what's our next group, Sean?
Group E.
Oh, give me a second here. Group E is Poland, Slovakia, Spain, and Sweden. This is going to be the meme group. This is got to be the meme group. Like, there's just going to be draws and shite 1-0 wins all over the place. I fancy Poland to win this over Spain. I don't know how that Spain team are going to do. Like, Spain is the one team they could either win the whole thing or they're going crashing out in the group stages, and I don't think there's an in between. Like, they're either getting very far or they're going out early, because they've no Real Madrid players, which is just unheard of in a Spanish team. Like, that is an anomaly, and it was the Spanish media seem to think that it's kind of like a wrist slap to Perez for starting the whole European Super League thing. But I don't know. Like, I don't particularly rate Spain internationally anymore. I think they've had their time, and I don't put them top 4 in the Euros even. But as I said, like, when it comes to tournaments, they could just turn it up and like do well. And they did have a good run. You know, they beat last year they beat Germany like 6-0 in the Nations League. I don't know. I got Poland and Spain to go through. I couldn't tell you who's going to finish ahead of Slovakia and Sweden. On paper, both teams aren't particularly strong. I go with Sweden ahead of Slovakia because they won the under-21 Euros a few years ago.
That's about it. No,
Group F.
But here, before you go on, sir, Sean, sure, there's been a COVID outbreak in the Spain camp, so there's 2 players have tested positive in the last week. So
yeah, I was going to leave that for later, but we're getting it now. Where'd that go?
Llorente and
Diego
Sergio
Llorente
Busquets.
and Sergio Busquets. Aye,
Sergio Busquets.
They're both
playing the same position pretty much.
So they've actually set up a whole backup squad?
There's 11 players from the under-21s have been called into training camp, separate from the squad, just in case.
That makes sense because they just finished the under-21 Euros, so they're probably all match fit at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a bit weird. Like, I'm looking.
I suppose Poland are hitting this too, though.
I'm looking at this.
But...
Yeah, but I think like Lewandowski the last 2 years has undoubtedly been the best player in the world. I don't care if anyone thinks Messi or Ronaldo. It's like Lewandowski's just gone to another level. Like, he broke Gerd Muller's record of goals scored in the Bundesliga this year as well. And I know
he didn't even get Bundesliga Player of the Year. Haaland got it.
Yeah, which is ludicrous. But that's kind of like, you go on to the Premier League Player of the Year. Diaz over Harry Kane made no sense to me at all whatsoever. But going back to Poland, I know I was just talking shite about teams built around superstars. I think Poland are a bit of an exception in terms of like, well, they draw. They're like Ireland, where they just draw all the time against anyone. It's like I said, this is going to be the meme group. There's going to be teams just drawing against teams all over the place. But I do think Poland have enough quality just to squeeze through.
Yeah, I think Poland will probably pick up maybe about 7 points, 2 wins and a draw. And all the rest of them will just draw against each other, probably.
Yeah.
We were sort of looking there. I know that because they have that backup panel, I was looking through the names of the Spanish backup panel.
Fuck, I would hear this.
So you're going through all these names that sound proper Spanish, and just one pops out in the middle. Brian Gill.
Oh, Brian Gill's like I think he's a Scottish lad. Like, is he? I'm thinking of the wrong lad. I googled him. He plays for Sevilla. This is a different lad. There is a Scottish lad who's like has Scottish-Spanish citizenship, playing as a left back in Spain.
Well, this guy sounds like his dad's a fucking plumber from Plymouth or something. He doesn't sound Spanish.
His first name spelled Bryan.
And if you look him up, he looks like one of the Beatles. He doesn't even look Spanish.
He does, yeah.
So, like, what the fuck? Like, you're reading through that team, Brian Gill, like.
I hope he makes it into the squad somehow.
Fucking Brian Gill, like. But then again, I love watching countries bring on players that don't look or sound like they're from the country. Like, people could argue, like, a lot of the players coming through for Ireland have a lot of African names, and they're like, "How the fuck's he Irish?"
You need to come down to Dublin.
Oh, it's wild, right? What's our next group?
F. The group of death is the call.
Oh, the death group.
How is this the group of death? People are like, oh yeah, France, Germany, Hungary, and Portugal. This is the group of death. The real group of death is Belgium, Denmark, Finland, and Russia, because all those teams are at the same level. It's like any of those teams can go through. This team here, right? France, tournament favorites, but Germany behind the scenes have been falling apart. Joachim Low is leaving at the end of the tournament, regardless of how they do. there have been fights going on in the Germany camp for the last fucking year plus. They are very, very inconsistent with results. Like as I was saying, they lost to Macedonia. They got hammered by Spain.
Even
and
as far back as the last World Cup, they were shit.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I feel like their under 21s just won the Euros, but I think until they have the turnover of players, I don't know. Like, I'd go with France to win it because France are very hard to look past for the whole tournament. To be honest, their squad is on paper the strongest squad in the tournament by far. Like they have quality backup in every position. Hungary are just going to get absolutely. I feel sorry for them. Like they're just there for the participation medal. Like. And especially like they didn't play particularly well against us the other day, Ireland. So I don't think they're going to do well against Germany or France or Portugal.
Like imagine being Hungarian watching that draw come in. You'd just be like, what's the fucking point?
Just go for the crack, innit?
That's it.
They just have to be the island of this tournament and bring the joy to everybody else.
Portugal are a weird one to me, right? Because they seem to be, everyone I talk to is either saying Portugal or France to win it. I don't know if I agree with Portugal winning it, to be honest. I just think
it's hard to look past them as well, though, because they're still defending champions as well.
Yeah, I think like they're playing at the moment, actually. It's 2-0 in case you're wondering. But like I just think that Portugal team, like who do they have at the back? Cancelo, Pepe, Diaz.
Semedo, Jose Font.
I don't know if that like there's something about that Portugal team that's just the goalkeeper is your man.
Shushu.
No, they're playing.
No, he's not. He's not.
He didn't get called up.
He didn't get them. He didn't make the squad.
No, he's in the squad, Patricio.
Did he?
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Right. They play your man Silva over him normally, I think, though. I don't know. It's just there's something about that Portuguese team where I don't think they're strong enough at the back. I always think you're better off having a better defense than attack to win a tournament. And I just don't know if that Portuguese team is strong enough at the back to win.
They're strong enough to outscore anybody, though. That's
that's
when you look at the power going forward they have, it is scary.
Yeah, no, I won't disagree with that, but at the same point, like they're winning. Like I'm just having a quick scroll through their results here, and they've a lot of 3 goals scored, 2 conceded, 2 goals scored, 2 conceded. Like they
sounds a very lot like West Ham towards the end of the season. So many 3-2 results, making me shit myself.
I don't know. I imagine Portugal will get out of that group. I actually think that whoever finishes third won't make it through. I think that this is going to be one of the 2 groups where they don't make it through because I don't think they're going to get.
We sort of discussed that last week because, I think it's going to be that way as well. I think it's going to be 2 teams are going to dominate that group.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with France and Germany to go through, and I go Portugal third.
Ooh, even after everything you said about, I wasn't expecting. I was a wee curveball there right at the end.
I know after everything you were saying about Germany, and
I don't know. It's just they made some smart choices in terms of they brought Müller back into the team, and they have been fighting with each other, but it's Germany. Like, come on, they're the most populous country in Europe, and they have like football as their national sport. They're just a powerhouse in international football. I can't look past them. As good as Portugal are, I just can't look past Germany. Watch Germany lose the group now.
Yeah. Well, there we go. What was the next topic there, Sean?
So it's just on to these last few here. Who's your winner?
Italy, hands down.
Right, top goal scorer.
I don't think it's going to be an Italian.
I said Lukaku.
I said an Italian. I said Immobile.
No, Italy don't score that much in their games. I don't think it'll be an Italian. They'll win like 1-0, 2-0 throughout the whole thing, or go through on penalties when they can. I'd have to look at the route to the final, but if I was going like for a France-Italy final, I'd go with Benzema top scorer.
Did he not come off? Did he sort of limped off yesterday? They're starting to worry about him.
I changed my mind.
They started to worry him because it was like, but then again, everybody's saying
that's the old age.
But everybody was saying, if France are in trouble now that Benzema's out. He hasn't played for France for about 6 years, so they're not really in trouble. Like,
yeah.
And then Giroud scored twice last night, so like, Giroud's unreal. I'm sure anybody says. He's class.
Giroud does a job. Like he's
He's just a better, all-round better Andy Carroll. He can do everything Andy Carroll can do, plus he's far better looking.
I kind of want to change mine to Griezmann purely because the thing where, have you seen the thing where he's brought out a new celebration now, so he's just going to break world football again?
No, I haven't seen his new celebration.
I don't know what the actual celebration is, but he started off and he done the hotline bling. He absolutely ruined everybody.
Us included.
And then he started that take the L celebration.
Yeah.
And he changed the season around, and then apparently he's got this new one now. I don't know what it is yet, but apparently every time he changes his celebration, that's him. Just
it's gonna be the blind lights TikTok dance, isn't it?
I don't know what. I honestly haven't seen. I just read somewhere that he's a new celebration, and the last 2 times he's changed it, he's just kicked on. So
Cowboys
rate celebration up.
I don't rate Griezmann on a club level since he left Atletico, but say for France, he always seems to show up.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go with, just in case this is my backup pick. I'm gonna go with Serge Gnabry.
Oh fuck yeah, that's a shout actually.
That is a good shout.
Golden Glove, I want for whoever doesn't ask for Italy because just don't concede.
Yeah, like Donnarumma. There you go.
Yeah.
Who did I say again? I said Lloris because I just think France are just going to walk it, like. But then again, Lloris isn't as good as he used to be, though.
Sure.
Lloris, people think he's not as good, but I was looking at his stats and he was still like, in terms of shot faced, I think he saved the most of any goalkeeper like in any of the top 5 leagues this season. He is still good. It's just people think he wasn't
as good.
Second
in the Premier League. Sam Johnson actually saved the most.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was West Brom's keeper. He had about 1 million shots at him.
Well, I stand corrected. But no, I was looking up some statistics. There was like I think it was to do with like aerial duels, one-on-ones, and I do think that Lloris still has it. Like I was one of the people who wrote off Lloris till I seen this, and I was like, oh, maybe he does have it after all. Like I think people forget, wasn't he injured at the start of the season as well though?
Yes.
Yeah. So well, people, it's like everybody shits on Maguire, and then you look at the stats and like, okay, maybe he's actually all right.
Yeah.
Like he
I just shit on Maguire because I don't like him and I don't like United.
Yeah. So, but he gets a lot of grief, and then you realize he's actually he's a pretty good defender, but he's not worth 80 million. He's
just as well he's not playing Greece or he'd be arrested again, like fat-headed prick. What was the next topic, Gershon?
The last one is surprise package of the tournament. So team, we've already got your team surprise package with Macedonia, I'm sure there.
Yeah, I go Macedonia. I think.
Surprise player of the tournament.
That's a tough one. Like I'm trying to think of. Well,
I want Moreno at Spain.
I don't know if he'll start. Moreno
that's the thing. We're talking about people who might actually come off the bench and make impacts and have people talking. So it mightn't be your necessary starter. Couple somebody who'd be like, whoa, grab the headlines a few times.
Goran Pandev, there's my surprise player.
Who's he?
Macedonia's captain.
You may as well stick at the what you say. Like, who did I said Den Donker, who plays for Belgium, who plays for Wolves. I don't know. I like him. Like,
he just looked at the name. He looked at the most random name. That'll do.
No, I've liked Den Donker for years because West Ham tried to sign him and we didn't get him, and I was raging. And then I've seen him play for Wolves. And he scored against us a few times, and I was like, yeah, I like this guy. Wish we got him, so fuck it, I'll back him to Euros.
Goran Pandev's 37 years old. He's definitely going to be player of the tournament now.
What's his day job?
I don't know. He owns. I know there's a team that's called like, I can't remember. They're called like Sporting Pandev or something like that. That he started like 5 years ago, and they just won the Macedonian League this season.
Go on, the boys.
Yeah, but he used to play for Inter Milan for years. Pandev did, and I don't know where he is now. I know he's not at his own team, but like he's 37, and I seen a big interview where he was talking about, like, it was translated obviously, and he was talking about the pride of the country of playing for Macedonia and like how it's a big honor. So yeah, Pandev's my man.
There we go.
I'll be getting that Pandev Macedonian jersey.
That's it. That's
the final of the Euros, France versus Macedonia. Pandev last minute header, back post.
At least you have somewhere to say it. At least you have somewhere to say it. I told you all about him.
True.
You're that up a class. You'd love to see an outsider win it, like Greece in 2004 all over again.
I don't want that because every Greece game was awful. I don't know if people remember, but that that was a bad Greece team to win it.
They shouldn't even have been in the tournament as well, shouldn't they not have? Isn't there something they made it in somehow because an all team had to drop out or something?
No, I think you're confusing them with Denmark. Denmark in 90.
Maybe
because of Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yugoslavia broke up and Denmark were the highest rated team who went in the tournament. And then they won it.
Yeah. That's what I must be thinking of then. But no, the Euros this year, like I've been looking forward to it. And then you start seeing some of the matches coming up to it, and you're like, is this going to be as good as what?
But then
I think
again,
that you have to remember they're rotating a lot. Like even England the other day, they played the team that isn't going to play.
Yeah.
And the reason they're doing that is they're trying to just get everyone fresh for the Euros, and they're trying to see maybe a manager is having a look at seeing if I'm kind of torn between 3 right backs if you're the England manager, for example, and he's just testing out different players to see which one like suits best. And I think there's a lot of experimentation. Like I seen the Spain team who lined up there, they played Lithuania, and if you look at it, it's like, who the hell is this team? It was literally like, it seemed like the under 21s almost.
Yeah. No, well, suppose you're right there as well. Like all the friendlies leading up and then the tournament might just be unbelievable.
I hope it is. Like, but
there's
no,
nothing worse than a bad tournament, though, is there?
it's really not.
Yeah.
Although to prefer
No,
the last few international tournaments, like I'm not a lover of international football. If Ireland were playing, I'd probably have it on, but I'd probably be playing Candy Crush while I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really be invested. But when it comes around to the tournaments, you do get invested because you start seeing players that you wouldn't see week in, week out in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting things like that I like.
My favorite thing that happens after a tournament is a player plays well. Usually it happens in the World Cup and they get a massive move and you're like, this player is muck and he played 4 good games and now he's getting a move that he is in no way capable of performing up to the standard. James Rodriguez.
Another one that springs to mind, Andre Arshavin.
Yeah, exactly.
Went to Arsenal, well, to prefer like he completely bent Liverpool over. And
don't speak about that.
That's the only match that I know he ever played well in. I don't remember doing anything after.
Don't speak about that.
Well, you like to bring up the 2006 FA Cup final all the time, so yeah, I'll bring up what I want. All right. Have you seen Phil Foden's Gaza haircut?
I have not.
Oh my God, Cowboy! I hadn't seen it today either.
He tried to say in the press conference, "No, I've just had the same haircut for a while. I want to try something." It's the same haircut. He's just went full Gaza color. Like
he's crossed between Eminem and Gaza.
He looks so strange.
Like that is 110%. He's trying to be Gaza. Like,
and then
there's no two ways about it.
There was an interview with one of the other English players. I think it was Trippier, and they were like showing that goal. Remember that goal he scored? He dinked it over the defender and then buried it.
Yeah.
And they were like saying this is what Foden's going to do in the Euros. And you're like, fuck off! No, he's not.
Although Foden does give you sort of Gaza vibes because he's a generational talent and he's so good. But
he is brilliant, but like
he's just jinxed himself trying to be Gaza.
Like what is that haircut?
In a few years, he's going to be run about blocked out of his head, looking for Real Moat.
Well, I'm just after finding out Paul Gascoigne has followed Phil Foden and dyed his hair blonde.
Oh my God. Like that's mad. Like I saw it on Twitter yesterday and I was like, what is he doing? Because the jersey that England are wearing is sort of like the jersey that Gaza wore in that tournament.
In Euro 96, yeah.
Yeah, like, so I think he's just trying to emulate him so much. Like
it's so funny because everybody's saying like everybody's comparing him to Gaza and how good of a player and all he was, but yet they didn't win it back then either. So what's the point?
I know.
You know what I mean?
But that's another problem with England. There's so it's probably just because of where we live as well, the media and stuff.
So it's coming home.
There's just so much hope going into every single tournament, and then it just falls flat in its face.
But it's so funny because when it comes to the likes of the Euros and the World Cup and stuff, all the talk is about how good England are and how good their players are, and then when they're playing for their clubs in the Premier League or wherever they are, they're shitting on them. It's like a complete turnaround with the media when it comes to international. It's ridiculous.
That's why I don't really watch international football. Only time I do watch it if there is a tournament. Like as I said, I would get emotionally involved in like qualifiers if Ireland are doing well.
I have one where like the opposite of that, where Shane Duffy, who we all know had a torrid season at Celtic.
Oh,
Yeah.
Went and got man of the match there the other day. Played terrific. And I have friends who are Celtic fans from Glasgow. And I remember when Duffy signed for them, I was like, oh, he's getting a great player. He's been our best player for the last 2 years every time he plays for Ireland. Oh, no.
No. Like going from being a decent Premier League defender to not being able to play well in a pub league
Yeah.
was just so bizarre. Like, but then again, I think James McLean, I think he needs to go to Celtic.
I think
No,
James
but-
McLean needs to stop playing for Ireland. I've been sick of him
Yes.
for the last 10 years. Get rid of him. Get out.
Really, I like McLean. Well, I did a couple of years ago.
It's-
He's not as good now as he.
you like the person. You don't like his football ability because
Here,
on that are
he played a very, very delicious ball into the box
I
last
think
night.
I think he gets called up for his person as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah.
his ability. And I don't think his ability has been there for years and years now. And there are better players who play the same position who should be playing ahead of him.
no,
Better,
it's like,
better players in a conversation about Ireland is isn't really a conversation.
James
to hear much.
McLean is here, but the better players are here.
It's just slightly above. So I don't know if you saw the breaking news there before. It's not really Euro related, but the Premier League player teams that have joined the Super League have been fined a combined 22 million. So what's your thoughts on that? Now you support a Super League team.
I was upset about like the Super League happening. I was genuinely concerned stopping supporting Liverpool. Like I have 3 teams that I actively follow in football: the Irish national team, Liverpool, and Shamrock Rovers in Ireland here. But I was content with just not supporting Liverpool anymore because it just kind of went against everything that I stand for in like football values. And I know even still supporting Liverpool, supporting this big multinational that really at its heart doesn't really care about the fans, but the owners do seem to be backtracking and are already trying to make amends, and like they've announced that they're going to expand Anfield, to continue the expansion, so on and so forth. 22 million is nothing to them. Genuinely, it's nothing.
that's not even one club. That's a combination of all 6. Is
Yeah,
paying 22 million,
that's like what's that divided in? Like that's 5 million ish each.
Yeah,
Less than that, 4
yeah,
million.
less than that. Yeah, so.
Yeah,
4 and a bit million each. Ridiculous. Like,
it's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
But if it happens again, they've said if it happens again, point deductions will come into play. But it's not going to happen again.
up to 30 points.
But the
Yeah,
clubs have
game.
seen that it won't work now. So if they ever content that again, they know they're losing their fans.
They're gonna try it again. I think they'll try it again.
Do you?
10 years, 15 years. There's so much money in it. So much money in a like standalone Super League for D League organizers. It's basically taking the American sports model and turning clubs into franchises is what they were going for. And I think that there was so much money involved in that, like in terms of it's the owners get all the money in those teams and they have salary caps and things like that. And I guarantee you down the line, that's what they look to bring in for the Super League is they bring in salary caps and everything else so that it would be, and it would make so much money that would be self-containing that they could buy all the best players from everywhere else. I think the only way that it can ever be combated is if they do what they said and they say, if you play for Super League, you can't play international football. Because I think it means so much to a lot of players like who will want to represent their country that they wouldn't go near the Super League.
Yeah, I think that's what sort of made them get a bit scared.
Yeah.
Pulling out because like the likes of the captains and the big names in the Premier League all sort of got together and were like, this is not happening. Like, and
Yeah.
I think Jordan Henderson was a big part because he called the captain's meeting, as far as I know.
He did, yeah.
Which is another reason why I think, I know I said about him earlier, maybe not being able to go to the Euros because of his fitness, but then as you said about his leadership skills, him being able to rally all the captains in the league shows why he probably should be England's captain.
He was, and then they took it off to give it to Kane because Kane's the talisman. That's all it is.
Yeah, Kane's not even captain of his fucking team.
It's like to go back to Liverpool here, but early 2000s Liverpool when they had they took the armband off Redknapp and gave it to Fowler briefly, from what I recall. And Fowler was the captain on the pitch, but Redknapp was the real captain who the players listened to. And I think it's the same with England, where Kane is the captain on the pitch, but the players will listen to Henderson.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows what Harry Kane's saying. That's maybe why.
Have you seen the Spurs documentary on Amazon?
Yes.
No.
Let's fucking do this. Come on, let's get the.
Do you know what part that really annoyed me about that? Mourinho was given like a fucking team brief or something, he put his hand up like a child, both. And then just went onto this whole, well, I think about our problems is, and everybody was just like, fuck up, Harry, like, just stop talking, like, please. No, even some of the pundits that I've, like, I don't watch England when they're playing, I don't really see the point, but one of the pundits actually said that Declan Rice is more of a leader than Harry Kane. Like, Declan Rice has got that experience at West Ham, he's our on-the-field captain. Yes, Mark Noble's his mentor. I can see by your face, I hate Declan Rice for what he done. Right?
I know.
I do. Right? It still hurts, but
leaders don't steal caps off other players and then go and move nationalities.
but he's West Ham's best player, and what he's done for West Ham, I can't help but have that soft spot for him. And if he left at West Ham, I'd be devastated.
If he left West Ham, you'd really curse him up and down.
Oh fuck, I didn't eat chicken curry and rice for about a year after he left Ireland. I refused point blank. Yeah, but like he's more of a leader than Harry Kane. Like,
yeah, no, I'd agree. Feelings about his way he handled things personally, internationally aside. No, I would agree with that statement entirely. Like, I don't think he's even top 3, top 4 in terms of leaders in that England dressing room. But it's like I was saying, it's like, it's not, he is England's best player. There's no question about it. He is England's best player. And sometimes it's for people the nation to rally around as opposed to the players on the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. England have always sort of had that one player that they sort of focus and put the weight of the country on.
Yeah.
Like Rooney had it for years. Rooney, the whole weight of expectations was put on Rooney's shoulders from that first Euros where he started, and before that it was Beckham.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was put the weight of the world on one player's shoulders, and then when it all comes crashing down, the press hammer them.
Yeah.
But then again, they haven't really ever hammered Harry Kane, like, have they?
No, I don't think so. But I think Harry also has the bit of sympathy going for him for the fact that he plays for Spurs.
See,
yeah,
Harry Kane has a thing going for him too at the moment. He knows he has to play well this tournament. Yeah, he wants that big move.
The thing is, as well, I think I was listening to another podcast. I won't advertise other podcasts on podcast. Don't worry. But I was listening to another football podcast, and they were talking about how Harry is like, he's never going to win out with Spurs. Realistically, there's too many teams in England who are better than. This was their best chance to win something this year, and they fucked it up by sacking Mourinho. They shouldn't have sacked him before the final.
Before
a
cup final, like, Jesus.
Yeah. And there's not going to be a chance in the next few years where the Spurs is now in a state where those players who were there since Pochettino are still there and they don't care and they need to be shifted out. And there's a whole rebuild. And Harry is 28 now.
Yeah.
And realistically, for the time for that project to come to fruition, it's going to be 4 years, and he'd be like 32 and he might be past it
as well.
Exactly.
He's 22. He's not going to hang about, and he's brilliant on his day.
I could see Son going to Germany.
Yeah, we came from there. He came from Leverkusen, didn't he?
Yeah. I could see him going to Dortmund and maybe Haaland or somebody going elsewhere. Well, if Jadon Sancho goes, they could very easily replace him.
Yeah, I some won't go anywhere for less than like 70 million though.
Yeah, I know. But he may stay. Like, they can't even attract a manager. Like, the talks
with Antonio Conte fell through there. Pochettino apparently he's coming back.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But
I wouldn't go and work for Daniel Levy again. Like,
I think he's coming back with guarantees and things like that because he's really not happy at PSG by all accounts. But it'd be interesting to see Spurs, but they're not going to win anything over the next few years. Like,
well, here they might win the Conference League.
I don't know. Shamrock Rovers are probably going to end up on that.
Hey,
I don't really watch the League of Ireland. So what's their situation? Can they get into the Conference League?
They're in Champions League qualifiers. They have to win, I think, 3 games to qualify for the Champions League.
How does it work with the League of Ireland? Because I know their league starts at a different time.
It's whoever won last season. So Shamrock Rovers won last season. They're going into Champions League. I think the team going straight into Conference League is Pats, I think, because Pats finished 4th.
Where did Dundalk finish?
Second. They're in Europa League. So essentially what happens is, like, Rovers are going to play in, like, round 3 of Champions League. If they lose, they play in like 2 rounds to go in the Europa League, and then if they lose, they play in the qualifying round of the Conference League, and if they win that, they go through. So they have 3 chances at qualifying for Europe pretty much, and it keeps moving forward like that. Where I think if you lose like the knockout, the last knockout before the Europa League, you just drop down into the Conference League groups automatically.
Fair enough. No, that Tottenham whole setup, it's going to be very interesting because we'll be doing a Premier League prediction sort of episode on this, and now this is a big call. I can see Tottenham fighting relegation. See if Kane and Son leave, they're fucked. Because if it wasn't for them two, they wouldn't have got as many points. Kane, top assist, top goal scorer. They lose him. Where's the goals coming from? Son, he leaves. Where are the goals coming from right now?
I still think they're
Bergwijn.
Aye.
They're still a big enough name to draw somebody else in.
Like, they can't even attract a decent manager. Antonio Conte took one look at the place and was like, nope.
The thing is about Spurs as well. This is what irks me about Spurs.
I hate Spurs. I'm a West Ham fan, so I'm just being a dick about them.
But it's people are always saying like, oh, they're historically a big team. Are they though? Because they've won nothing since 2008. Like the last 10 years, Leicester are bigger than them.
Oh yeah,
Leicester could even be bigger than Arsenal at this point. Like, Arsenal falling off as well, but Spurs are nowhere near there. Like people think of like Robbie Keane, Jermaine Defoe era Spurs where they were like up around like 5th, 6th every year, but they're just not there. I know they had that good run where they were making Champions League and they played the 2 Inter teams, but that's about the height of their highlights for the last like 20, 30 years, you know.
I go back to the year Leicester won the league. They finished 3rd in a 2-horse race. It was them two the whole way through the season,
and they
finished 3rd.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind. I was happy with that result.
Actually, you got $3,500 this way. He backed Leicester to win the league. Did he ever tell you that?
No, fair folks.
Yeah, fucking tax. I think it was about a week before the season started, and we were all out one night, and then the next morning we got a text in the group chat. I just took a few quid in Leicester to win the league. We were like, Sean, what the fuck? How drunk were you?
Listen, there was logic behind it.
Right, tell us the logic again. I love
it was definitely involved in the pre-season.
I put a tenner on Liverpool to win the league, as it did most years. And then the year that did it, I think I was the reason why they didn't win it, because they never fucking won when I put money on them. But I had £1 left in my account after it finished doing my bets, and Leicester were like below Liverpool or above Liverpool. I had a big odds, so I was like, that's the perfect reason to waste the last £1 in your account.
Yeah.
50p each way on Leicester to win the league. Of course, it's going to happen.
Well, it worked out well. You got a trip to Vegas out of it.
I went to Vegas. Cleared off my student debt as well. Wiped off my overdraft.
Oh, very nice.
And there you go. Can't about that. No, Leicester, they're a funny team too, because they've battled it. They've spent the most time in the top 4 than any other team in the last 2 seasons, and they still haven't got Champions League football out of it.
Yeah, like they're new Spurs. They're just battling all the time.
And they're still battling Spurs because they win trophies.
Yeah.
Cowboy, did you ever think we'd finish 3rd this year after the season we started with?
I was just about to ask, what about Liverpool this year? What's your thoughts?
I mean, look, you can. I seen this. This is going to upset a lot of United fans, right? But this is factual.
Said, get it out.
the end of the season, I was very conscious of this because one of my close friends, Liam, is a Man United fan. He's a very vocal Man United fan as well, and
they all are.
They're the worst.
But here's the thing, right? He was going on about how great they were at the start of the season. People are quick to forget United had a lot of decisions go their way that shouldn't have gone their way.
Yes.
And the VAR table at the end of the season showed it, where there were 4 teams on a +9 in terms of results that went their way that shouldn't have. And it was Brighton, Fulham, Man United, and I think Leicester were the last one. I'm not 100% on that, but I remember the other 3 for sure. Liverpool were a -9 in terms of results going against them. And you can go, I can quote games like United scored a penalty after the 90th minute to win a game.
Yeah.
Like Liverpool had a rightful goal against Everton overturned and a rightful penalty decision completely ignored, where like Van Dijk broke his leg. There you go.
Pickford he didn't get a yellow for that, or did he get a yellow?
No. I don't think he did he? Because if he give a card, it has to be a foul, which means it has to be a penalty. Yeah,
no, he didn't. He got away with it. But like, there's multiple occasions like that, and there were like 2 or 3 games in a row where Liverpool just had games going, or ref decisions more so than games going against them in around that Everton time as well. Start of the season, people are very quick to forget how much the ref decisions benefited United going on and building this momentum into this run. So comparing Liverpool and United, I find it like United, to be fair, made it to a European final, but they got figured out in the final and just couldn't undo. No English team can undo a Spanish team in a final. That's just a rule.
Yeah, it seems to be.
But
even growing up watching football, right? I'm the only non-Liverpool fan in my family, really.
Yeah.
Bar my dad, who's Celtic. But growing up, I know there's a lot of United bias in my house. But noticing that over the years, United have always had the referees
yes
on their side.
But I think a part of it is behind the scenes. I do reckon that there's some kind of thing to favor bigger teams in like historically bigger teams because they have more of a fan base and will have more people watching the games, and people are less likely to watch games when their teams are doing bad.
Yeah, like a lot of people are saying, as you said, about top six bias. Now, I'm not one to say that. I'm not going to be vocally about it, but everybody's trying to say that David Moyes should have got manager of the season, but he didn't because it's Pep Guardiola. Right? Yes, he got us to Europe after nearly getting relegated.
But I think
Pep turned that City team were ridiculous in January. Like
that Pep turned them around big time. I wouldn't disagree with Pep getting it, and Moyes also kind of fell off towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
like you guys went from, it looked like for a while that West Ham were going to finish ahead of Liverpool to just falling off altogether at the end. Like
so we got Europa League at the end of it, so I was happy enough for that. But maybe that's why the whole Super League fine thing was so minimal, because they're probably afraid of the big. They've a lot more to lose when big teams get shit on, like, don't they?
Yeah, and even the new structure of the Champions League is stupid, where like the two teams with the highest coefficient who don't qualify for the Champions League will automatically qualify for the Champions League going forward from, I think it's 2024 or something.
It's us.
Right, so for example,
we qualified.
So if 2024 happens and West Ham finished fourth and Liverpool finished fifth, you take our spot?
No, I think what it is, it's just these extra spots that aren't going for qualifiers. But let's say Liverpool are playing qualifying rounds and they're losing the qualifying rounds, doesn't matter. We go through anyway because we have the highest coefficient.
Unless Real Madrid finish like fifth or sixth, they've got fucking too many.
Real Madrid and Juventus still haven't pulled out of that super. Like officially, they still haven't.
Juventus are fucked financially. That's what people don't realize, is Juventus are in a very bad way financially. A lot of the Italian teams are in like dire straits.
Inter Milan are in a bad way too.
Yeah, Inter got screwed by that China. China brought in a rule where they're like, their owners are Chinese and you can't invest more than 22 million a year in foreign companies now, from if you're a Chinese businessman. So if your wage bill is 25 million and you can only invest 22 million, that's a problem. So that's all their players, after winning the league for the first time in like 10 years, are now in the shop window apparently.
Lukaku said he's staying, which is, I'd say, he'd be one of their highest earners too.
But there's talks of, like, I seen Hakimi was put in the shop window. He's been linked with Chelsea now. Lukaku's been linked with Chelsea. Everyone's been linked with Chelsea at the moment. Haaland's linked with Chelsea.
Yeah, that's just because they won the Champions League. That's nothing else for it. A few appointments coming up in the Premier League soon. But Crystal Palace meant to get a new manager the other day and it fell through. Nuno. The talks
Sampo, was it?
Yep, he was meant to become Palace manager and it fell through. Wolves got a new manager. I don't know who it is. The Celtic management situation, now that's a funny one. They're going to
they've gone more than a third of the year now without a manager.
Who?
Celtic, I think.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe's talks fell through. I think he'll go to Everton, to be honest, being an Everton fan. But like, who's this guy Celtic are bringing in? He doesn't even have a license to manage a European team.
I know he's the guy from Australia.
I don't know how to say his name. He just looks like a plumber. He looks like he'd not be fucking, to be honest.
Oh, it is the dude, Ange Postecoglou or something like that.
Postecoglou, that's someone.
He won the Asian Champions League. He actually, people are quick to write off non-European based managers, I think. But like, you look at how well Bielsa's done at Leeds. He was never really European based. He was South American based for the majority of his career.
It's not the European thing. He doesn't have a license to manage a European club. Like, he doesn't have the license for Champions League or like.
So he needs to apply for shit like that.
It's not going to matter, is it? They're not going to make Champions League anyway.
No.
they're gonna lose like Partizan Belgrade or something stupid. Like they
Remember
always
they
do.
lost to Lincoln Red Imps? Well, their fucking captain finished up his taxi shift, parked up outside the pitch, and went on and scored. Like that's wild. No, it's Celtic. Oh my God, I can't believe what a shit season they had. I did not see that coming. Like I thought they would have got 10 in a row, and then everything would have been hunky dory, and then they wouldn't have cared for a few years.
He won like the Asian Cup with Australia. This manager did. Like the one that I was talking about, Qatar being champions of. He won previously with Australia. He won the Asian Champions League, I believe, as well. He has like won the. I know it's nothing, but the Australian League multiple times.
What a league! What are you on about? What a fantastic league that is!
It's probably better than the SPL. Let's be honest.
Could well be.
It's bound to be more competitive.
I think Celtic, whoever takes it, it's kind of a poison chalice because it's a cursed job at the moment anyway, because there's a serious rebuild, and do they have the money? They don't seem to.
I don't think it's a case of they don't have the money. Celtic are quite a tight club.
Yeah, they don't spend.
Money-wise.
Never have.
They have a wage cap on all their players as well. I don't think any of the players earn over 30 grand.
Yeah, like it's like I don't know. Like it's like
then again, Rangers literally have no money, and they went and done it.
I would say Gerard comes in with all these links to everybody in the Premier League, going, "We'll take a land of all these."
There's all kinds of dodgy stuff about the Gerrard stuff. Like Ben Davies, Liverpool signed. Celtic were linked to signing him, and apparently Gerrard made a phone call and said, "Hey, can you do me a solid?" and got Liverpool to sign Davies so that he couldn't go to Celtic and help fix Celtic's shite defence last season.
And then he'll be on loan at Rangers next year.
Could well be.
That's pure topping up. Like that's
genius. That's using resources. That's great management.
It is also illegal and frowned upon in the football game, Sean.
Aye, but if there's no proof about it, it's great management.
Yeah, but that's something like I've read on like the Liverpool forums. Apparently, that's a pretty open thing. That's why he hasn't played either. Is because Klopp never wanted him. He was just there to stop him going to Celtic. Okay. And you'll probably see him being sold on in the summer now to someone else.
So Tom, just cut out the Celtic part. We'll give you just a thumb.
Being a Liverpool fan, how did you find the whole Everton fiasco last week?
Oh, I loved it.
Did you laugh?
Yeah, I reveled in it, man. Like it was so fun. I'm gonna bring up Liam as well. United fan. He has a little bit of a soft spot for Everton. He was telling me Everton were getting Champions League this season. I was like,
does he have a soft spot for Everton because he likes Everton or because they're
because of Liverpool's, because they're anti-Liverpool, like 100%. But he's like, they're gonna make Champions League this season. I was like, they're having a hot start. I was like, they're this season's Norwich. Watch, they're gonna fall off, and they fell off, and it was glorious.
Do you know what I find the funniest about it? Ancelotti was the biggest outspoken manager, one of the first one to come out against the Super League, and then he literally joined the ringleaders.
Yeah, I know, it's madness.
You're like,
but even the way Zidane left from Madrid is just insanity to me. It's like he just was like Perez was out saying he wants to keep him there, and then he just left. And I was like, all right, there must be something. I think Madrid and Barcelona are in bad financial positions.
Barcelona I think they're in like 500 billion. Like they're big debt, and that's why
a lot of the players refuse to take wage cuts as well. So they're
but that's did you hear about Ramos, where they're saying they're going to cut Ramos, and they're asking all the players to take a 25% wage cut, and Ramos rang every single player on the Madrid team, including apparently the Castilla team, and said, do not take a wage cut because they're just going to use the money to sign Mbappe.
I heard that apparently Ramos really doesn't like Mbappe. And let's be honest, I wouldn't go against anything Ramos said, because he'd fucking eat you alive, that man.
I have mixed feelings about Ramos.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah,
I recognize he probably is the best ever centre back in my lifetime, regardless of
But he broke Mo Salah when Mo Salah was unbreakable.
He did break Mo Salah.
It was actually the most shithouse moment I've ever seen. When they went to the Player of the Year awards, Champions League, and he touched his shoulder, and Salah was just like, what the fuck just happened there? Do you think Salah will leave this year?
No, I don't think he'll ever will. I think he'll retire Liverpool. I think he'll either retire Liverpool or he'll go to what are the Egyptian teams? Al Ahly or fucking I don't know.
He'll just go back to Egypt.
Yeah, legit. I think he's the least likely of everyone except maybe Henderson, Robertson, and Trent Alexander-Arnold to leave Liverpool.
Robbo's already declared he wants to finish his career at Liverpool and then carry on at the background.
Yeah,
Robertson.
He's already.
I thought he would have wanted to finish at Celtic. To be honest,
he's come out. I seen the interview. He came out and he said he was like he wants to finish his career at Liverpool.
he's now a die-hard Liverpoolian.
He's a great player. He's a great player. No, but it might just be me looking at from his book. My brother has his book as well. I think it might be from me from the outside looking, and I think the press are trying to create maybe more stories of an upset in Liverpool's camp than maybe there really is.
They're trying to the press try and like push this whole narrative of
Like
Mane
the
and
tabloids
Salah.
already don't. The
Salah
tabloids
and Mane
don't like
like each
Liverpool.
other, but
The
like
tabloids don't like Liverpool anyway. That's a given.
yeah.
It's always been a way because
But
Liverpool are working class.
I don't think that there's any kind of issues between Salah or Mane. Apparently they get on very well, and like they're if you follow them on Instagram, they have each other over to each other's houses for dinner. It's like you don't just invite workmates over for dinner. They're clearly getting on pretty well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I
that's
think
true.
what you see on the pitch is just like a bit of anger at the time. Like
It's if you're in any way competitive or you've played football with anyone who's competitive, you can scream. Like
Yeah.
I have myself. When I was playing, I'd scream at lads who I'm really good mates with, and you'd scream in their faces, and that happens. That happens. Like it's just part of the game. People get caught up in the game, or you see people throwing tantrums because they get subbed off. It's part of the game. It's because people are hyper competitive. Like
I tend to fight with the goalpost an awful lot as a goalkeeper because my defense are shite. So it was my way of like you fucked up, so I'll punch the post. The post got the brunt of my.
Been there myself. Right on a completely random note, some wee girl just stopped outside my house drunk and done a TikTok. But anyway, that's beyond. That's... all right, well, go on ahead, love. It's
Did you
fucking.
get it? Did you get it? Get in that TikTok or not? Go on ahead.
No, she's when I fuck off. I imagine her putting something. She's like 14. Imagine her putting that up on TikTok and see me fucking peeping in the back. Fuck's sake, look at her, eye pedophile. Right, before we start wrapping up, I've been saying this for a few weeks. France won the Euros. Kante wins the Ballon d'Or. Do you think he deserves it, or do you think Lewandowski, as you said earlier?
I don't know. This Kante love train is the latest in terms of they're gonna give it to someone who maybe like Kante is good, very, very good, don't get me wrong. But I don't think he's been on the level that no one has been on Lewandowski's level the last 2 years. Just fact. It is what it is. If they win the Euro, it's like when Modric got Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Did he really deserve it?
No.
No, because Messi and Ronaldo both played better than him that season. Like I don't entirely
I think
agree.
they were under pressure to give it to somebody other. Like before
Yes,
Messi and Ronaldo,
exactly.
it was just 2007. It was Kaká. So Modric
then-
broke the trend.
To give you a counter argument, if Portugal win, does Diaz deserve it?
Well, then there's that too.
Yeah, like there's the thing. It's like I don't think
He's not the finished article, Diaz. He's still young. He's not the finished article.
he's still getting better. Like he's
he had a great season, but there was a couple of times he was.
But I think he's still
Find out.
undoubtedly like top 2 defenders in the Premier League. Second best defender in the Premier League. Undoubtedly.
He's no Nat Phillips. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No one else.
The best defender in the Premier League this year was big Craig Dawson. Don't care what anybody says. That man would throw his head at a brick.
What are you on about, Phillips? That man
He
had a
done it
head
against
bandage.
West Brom. Shut up.
He
One
had a head
match.
bandage every week.
He played his best game against West Brom, going up for headers, and still Allison scored a header. So shut
Do you
up.
know? Do you ever play FIFA and you get like the boost cards? That bandage is like a +10 to all that stats when he puts it on. He just gets immensely better.
No, I describe Craig Dawson through the season as a golden retriever with a frisbee. Just throw it anywhere and he will follow it with his head. That's it. No, I think we'll wrap it up there for the week. That's well over an hour we've done there. Cowboy, thanks very much for joining us. Do you want to give us a wee bit of background about your other ventures before we do wrap up?
Thanks for having me. First off, yeah. So they call me Cowboy. I am a professional wrestler in my spare time. I am. I used to wrestle as a cowboy. I don't anymore, but the nickname stuck. So CJ West is my actual wrestling name. You can follow me at Twitter at CJ West _ I think. I don't know my own Twitter username. That's pretty bad. I don't log in very often. I don't think I've tweeted in like since December either. So
Fucking hell.
At CJ West _
yeah, at CJ West _ other than that, I also I stream on Twitch using the name Ted Clope, which is TEDKLOAP. And the reason I picked that name is because it was just random button pressing, and I've used it for 20 odd years, and that's
There we go.
it. But
There we
yeah,
go.
that's it pretty much.
We had your buddy on one day.
Cap, yeah, I was watching you. You streamed that one live, didn't you?
Yeah, that's when we
Yeah.
had Tony, who was like our Twitch guy, and like
Yeah.
Tony left.
He done it. He was Tunisia and Tony and done a heel turn and fucked off.
Yeah. Tony basically came up to me in work and says, your podcast needs work. He came on board, sorted it out, made it sound a lot better. And then was like, yeah, I can't commit to this anymore. And we were like, well, this is where you showed us how to do a few things. Me and Sean hadn't really a clue what to do, like. But no, Captain's good crack. He was good crack. I wasn't expecting him to be as good crack as he was because Sean was like, right, I'm getting Captain Saxy on. I was like, who the fuck is Captain Saxy? And then
he's a good lad. Like he's
a character.
He is a character. He's like the person underneath the gimmick is nearly more interesting than the character, which is funny to say, but he's a very entertaining guy. Like Captain_sexy on Twitch. Check him out. He has like a lot of followers. But yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's very, very entertaining.
Good friend of Mr. Beast as well, I heard.
Yeah.
And Symphony now.
Lucky bastard.
And Symphony, yeah.
Who the fuck Symphony?
I don't. This is the Twitch side of things. You won't know him either. No.
I will go on Twitch all the time and watch maybe one of the Sidemen or something like that. That's probably about the height of my Twitch experience, like. And that's just me being generic, like.
I've introduced him to one of the mates from America, El Mucho.
Oh, Mucho Macho, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to get him on someday. He seems pretty cool, like.
Yeah, Mucho's a cool dude. He randomly turned up in like mine and Captain streams a few months ago, but he's a great guy, like genuinely.
Yeah. Well, that's it for another week, folks. Macedonia is going to win the Euros apparently. Well, maybe not win it. It'll be Italy and the Macedonia final, and Pandev's going to score a header back post last minute of the game in the final. So you've heard it here first.
6-1 Italy. It finishes.
But Pandev scoring, they'll just give it to Macedonia.
That's worth 7 goals. That one.
Tell you what, Sean, put a pint on Hungary to win that group as well. You'll probably win more than you got for Leicester win the league. Hungry.
See, they don't do the odds no more. But yes, thanks again, Cowboy, and folks. We'll chat to you all again.
Whenever we're a cup of fuck doing this again. Right, thanks very much, Captain. I was gonna call you Cowboy.
Oh,
shit. Oh
my God.
Fuck your
podcast.